You just entered the Serpent Center. You following along. You know this is our first year breeding bull pythons. And with baby snakes, you need new enclosures. Here on this channel, we like to do things DIY. We like to save some money, show you how to do this without breaking the bank. So today, we're going to build the DIY rack. We're going to show you how to put heat tape on it. It's cheap, it's easy, it works. Strap in. I'm Rick from the Lost Serpents. Let's go. Alright, y'all. Obviously, for this project, the most important thing you're going to need is a rack. I use a couple different types of racks. This rack I got from Walmart. There's another one of the same size that I also got from Walmart. You can use racks like this, made of metal. You can use racks made of wood. You can use racks made of anything, as long as, if you can make a shelf out of it, you can use it. Today, we're going to use this rack that they do sell at Walmart. I actually had this one laying around my basement. Ain't using it no more. Instead of spending the money, you know, I like to save a couple dollars around here so you can do this without breaking the bank. So I cleared that off. We're going to use that. And then after that, we're going to get to the other things you're going to need for this build. First off, we're going to need heat tape. We got 6-inch, we got 4-inch, hatchlings, small animals, small enclosures. I'm going with 4-inch. We're going to need duct tape. We're going to need electric tape. We are going to need duct tape. This is duct tape, heating duct tape. It's for things that get hot. The heat tape is actually for pipes, to heat your pipes in the winter. That's what it was originally made for. This is what I'm going to use to connect my wires. Also grab them at Walmart. Can't tell my wife works at Walmart. These are made for buttons. Got them in the craft section at Walmart. Shout out to Walmart. Y'all should sponsor me. These are the tools you're going to need. Hole punch. Pliers. Wire strippers. Scissors. Going to need, I use extension cords. Cheap extension cords. They cost like $2, $3. Real cheap, real easy. You're going to need any type of wires. At least one of them is going to need a plug. It's electrical wire, pretty much. You can use it, cut a cord off, whatever you want. You can go buy cords. These are really good because they're cheap and they work perfectly. One of them has to have a plug. And we got the main most important thing you are going to need. You are going to need a thermostat. You do not want this overheating. You do not, let me repeat, you do not want this to overheat. You do not want to hurt any of your animals. You do not want this to catch on fire. You do not want anything to go wrong. You don't want to burn your house down. You don't want to hurt your animals. Now, if you follow the steps I'm about to tell you and do it the way you should, nothing should go wrong. It's not hard. It's not that complicated. Just got to do it the right way, get it done, and then you'll be fine. I know I made a big deal about that just because safety comes first, but it is very simple, and you will see. Trust me. All right, y'all, now it's time to get down to business. For the sake of the video, for the sake of time, it just makes it easier this way. I pre-cut the materials we're going to be using. So first off, we got our heat tape. So we have 4 of them cut, 2 sides already. And then we have 4 wires cut. Now, I made a little miscalculation when I was thinking this through. Our 1 wire is a plug. So the plug has to go into the wall. So you need 1 side with a plug. That's the only one that's going to need a plug because the rest of them are going to connect to each other. This is the one that needs a plug. So, cut off the head of the other one, the part you plug into. Sorry, I don't know technical terms. I am not an electrician. But you cut off the head of it, throw it away. We do not need that part. So we have 1 part with a wire, and then we have 3 other parts that are going to connect to each other. Measure out the length of wire you're going to need and cut them. Simple, very simple so far. very simple. If you're following along, this is going to be easy. It is very, very simple. Don't get intimidated because it's electricity. As long as you follow this way I'm telling you and be safe, it will work with no problem at all. So now next what we're going to do, we're going to get one of our measure of our lengths of heat tape. Okay. I'm going to take not this first one because the first one already has some black tape, another safety measure. Some black tape on the ends of it covering the metal parts. The metal parts are the conductors. You're going to tape them off on the end when they're shown. We'll get to that later though. But electric tape is key in this process. We're going to be using it a lot. Now we're going to start with the first one. It will be the one with our plug. Because I know everybody isn't going to be making one for a rack. You might be making one for one enclosure. You might be making one for one rack, like one level of a rack. You might be making one for a 10-gallon tank, whatever it may be, whatever you're heating. So if you're doing it that way, you only need the one with the plug. So we're going to start with that. And what we're going to do here, I get my scissors, and you get there's 2 wires there. You really look close, the camera will focus. There's 2 pieces of copper wire in there. I don't know, the camera will not. There you go, on that side of focus. The 2 separate pieces. I'm going to get my scissors in between there and cut there. It's actually 2 separate wires. I'm just going to make a little slit to separate it, and then I'm going to pull them apart a little bit from there, just so I got some wiggle room. See what I did there? Now I got 2 wires. You got a positive and a negative. Always positive and negative when you're working with electricity. Now we get our wire snips. These wire strippers are perfect for this. You can cut the wire with this part here, which is what I already did. And now I'll show you what we do with the other parts. Now this, I believe, is 12 gauge wire. I got all the gauges on the side there. It shows you one by one what the gauges are. Just get it in there, get it around the wire, and you're going to strip you some wire. You want some copper to be showing. You want to have a length of copper. Bang, got a length of copper there. So with that, we want to do it on both sides. Actually, you got a length of copper. We're going to do it on both sides. Doesn't have to be a ton. Actually, you don't want it to be a whole lot. Alright, so now we got both of our wires, our copper showing. We twist our copper up, make them a little tight. Boom, boom, boom. Make them tight. And then we're going to get the yellow connector, which what I'm using is an EverStart. It's an EverStart circle, rack circle connector or something like that. I'm sorry, the thing ripped. I thought I had it, whatever. One of these, man, one of these. Boom. The yellow part's going to go onto the wire, and we're going to connect the silver part to our heat tape. Made this one a little long, but that's alright. It goes right through the middle, no problem, boom. And then we're back to our tool here, and it has different colors on there. The yellow dot shows you what size this is. You're just going to use that to clamp this down to, I'm going to clamp it down to the wire. Make it nice and tight. You do not want this coming off, because this is what is going to make your connection for your wire to your heat tape. So you clamp that down, get a second one, and do the same thing on the other side. This tool I got makes this a lot easier, but you can do all the stuff that I'm doing with scissors, a pair of pliers. This is the right tool to use for this stuff, but you don't need it. I would suggest getting one. You're going to be doing this more than once. Definitely worth it. And now comes the safety part. Now we get our electric tape. Electric tape is going to be huge in this process. Get a nice, generous amount of electric tape. Eventually I'll get it. And we want to tape this connection up. We don't want to see the copper no more. We want to tape the copper away, cover that up, and then we're taping the yellow thing to the wire to basically make it one. Makes it nice and secure, and it traps your electricity in there. So it serves two purposes. It makes your wire secure, and it traps that electricity inside the wire, so it's not having a frayed wire out in the exposed. So get another piece of electric tape and do the same thing again. Boom. And that is our wire that will be connecting into the plug in the wall. You got the plug on one side and what we just made on the other side. Alright, we're going to put this to the side for right now. It's a little hot down here, y'all. Sorry. Alright, next we're going to need our hole punch. We're going to get our hole punch. We're going to get our heat tape. And now, there's metal pieces. We got the two metal pieces on each side. That's where the electricity conducts from. That's where the electricity is going to run from. You're going to take your hole punch and you're going to put a hole in the metal part, the copper piece. And you want to get your connection that we made and line it up kind of so that it's like right off of it. Like boom, right there. You don't want it too far up. You just want this to sit inside because that's going to have to go in there. So what I usually do is I get it so I know where it is, so that I know exactly where that hole is going to land in my thumb there, and then I hit my hole just a little bit right in front of it. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going for the middle of the black. Bang! And now, usually I have my knife with me to do this part. Time out, let me go get that. Alright, and we're back. I'll do this part with a razor blade. You could use your scissors, whatever it may be. But you want to get the razor blade. There's a layer of plastic over top of both sides of this copper. You want to separate that so that you can slide the metal connector of the wire that we just made underneath that plastic. I've seen people do other things, like heat it up to get rid of the plastic. But the main goal here is just to expose the copper. You want the metal of our connector touching the copper. So the metals are touching and it becomes a conductor. You conduct the electricity from one to the other that way. And of course on camera I'm going to have a problem with it. Alright, it went under. It's all good. Whichever way it can go. Now you want to get your circle ring and stick that inside this metal, inside copper. Open it up a little more. Do that on both sides. Bang, that's how I went real simple. Now I'm going to get my ring. Let's jam it up in there. Alright, boom. Finally, got it in there. God, it's hot. I'm starting to bake down here. I wasn't so fat. I'd have my shirt off. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our razor blade, and what I do is I just cut little slits on each side of it, like cut a little, like a cross. I cut in it. It just makes it go, the next part go in easier. Just a little slit, barely anything at all. You really probably don't even have to do this. I just find it makes our, what are they called, eyelets, go in a little bit easier. Oh, there you go. I cut too far, but you want to cut. See, you can't see that on camera, but you just want to cut a little cross into it so that it lets the eyelets slide in just a little bit easier. Believe it or not, y'all, if you only making one, you just about done. Alright, so we got our little slits cut. Back to our wire. We take our wire and we stick it back in the opening that we made. Boom. That side's in. Boom, that side's in. And we got both sides in. Now we're going to get our little eyelets. Now they come with two different sides. So you got to make sure you get two of each side. It's going to be hard to pick this up on camera. That's what one side looks like. And the other side's a little bit, it's got to, you could see it when you're doing it. One side's a little deeper than the other. So you want to get one of each of these situations. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but one's deeper than the other. You get one deep one and one short one, and I got three. I don't have the right ones. There we go. Now I got two and two. Alright. And what we're going to do is we're going to take one of them and stick it in our hole. Get it in your hole. Boom. And now you put the other side on the other side. Now they give you, in the one I bought, the eyelets I bought, they do give you a little tool to put these together. I want to make sure this thing is going to stay together. So I use my pliers to make sure this thing's going to stay together. Now I don't know which ones I got. You put that on the other side. Boom, bang, you grab your pliers and you crush it down. Crush it down as tight as you can. Don't gotta be pretty. Just want to make sure it's smashed down so that you cannot pull that out anymore. I don't want you to be able to pull that out anymore at all. It's not going to end up pretty, but it works. That's what matters here. We're going for functionality, not aesthetics. When you're all said and done, you should have a solid connection. It should not come out. I mean, don't rip it, trying to rip it out, but it should not come out if you choke on it lightly or anything. It should not come out. And basically, you have heat tape at this point, but I'm all about safety. I do have a 4-year-old, so not even you got to do this part. Like, back to our electric tape, our best friend. Let's take the electric tape, where my scissors go. Cut off a nice sized piece of electric tape. and tape over any exposed metal you have. Boom. I like to go a little overboard with my taping sometimes, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I use 3 pieces of electric tape to make sure any way that electricity would be able to escape from this connection is covered up. Now you have a piece of heat tape. Now you would just put this down, which I will show you how to do later. Plug it in and it will be heat tape. Right now, if I was just using this, I would plug it in and check it. Matter of fact, I am going to plug it in and check it just to be safe. Like I said, very simple. You just plug it in. You can see I got other ones there. Plug it in, and within a couple seconds, minutes, you should start feeling some heat. Wow, it's already on 91. It's already heating up. You see 90, 91, 88, 87, 95. You see that's not the temperature of the floor. So as you see, it is working. Alright, what's up, y'all? Up to this point, man. As a matter of fact, you still here watching this video. This is getting long, man. It's a long video. Comment serpents down in the comments. So I know you're sticking around. I know you're a real one. I know you're one of the ones who really rocking with me. But, man, it's getting real long. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to turn this into 2 videos. Alright, you're going to have to wait long for the second one. That thing's going to drop in like 2 days. But this one's going to end here. This way, if you just make one thing of heat tape for one level of a rack for one enclosure, for whatever purpose, maybe you just need one level. You already seen everything you need to know on that. On the next one, we're going to get into connecting more levels to it and adding them levels to the actual rack. This is the finished hatchling rack here. We're going to show you that for real. Not just hatchlings on it. You see we got a glow out on it. There's a yearling or so up there. This is the whole rack I got going on. I got 4 levels on it. You can see the heat tapes on it. I'm not using it all right now. But you got heat tape all connected. I'm going to show you how to do all that in the next one. And with that being said, y'all, do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch y'all next time. Deuces.